the thing that I wanted to say is that we've already discussed.
Okay.
This is a year of unprecedented load management. Nobody plays, right?
Right.
And the reason we're told this is because that this happens is for the long haul, for the long-term goals of the player and the organization. Okay. So we have a situation in Philadelphia where the series was 1-0. Sixers went into Boston, took game one from them. And now we have a situation in San Francisco where the Lakers went in there, took game one from the Warriors. They play game two tonight. The point I wanted to make is, in this year of load management where we're always playing the long game, I do not think Joel Embiid should have played last night, and I do not think LeBron should play tonight. In both cases, the goal of the road team in these first two games is to take one game out of the series. Both of them have done it. Joel is hurting, obviously. He rushed back from this knee. He played last night. He wasn't very good. The Sixers were terrible. They lost anyway, and Joel put all this unnecessary tread on his knee. He could have had 4 days off. In LeBron's case, they've got this win, a huge win, game one. The Warriors are going to go small. They're going to run him through all these screens. They play at a high pace, and in that series, the games are coming every other day. There's nothing wrong with going back to L.A. tied at 1 with LeBron having had, 3 or 4 days off and a total reset for the rest of the series. So that was the point. And I can dive into this more if you want, but I wanted to come on your show today and say that we've been load managing all year because of the long-term goal. Well, you're one up in a series in both cases, and what's supposed to be a long series anyway. You've got older top-line stars who need the extra rest. I think the Sixers should have held him out of game two, and I'd be advocating for it if I was in the Laker locker room.
Senior NBA writer for The Athletic, Joe Vardon, joined the Rich Eisen Show. And look, they just signed a new collective bargaining agreement, right? So I don't know what the answer is, Joe, to the actual solution for a season that's 82 games. And then you get to the playoffs, and it is the grind of having to play either every other day or you may get every 2 days, depending on the TV schedule that you get. But what happens now when we look at our stars? Similar, Paul George kind of broke down at the end of the season a little bit. Obviously, has a different kind of injury. But we're seeing Kawhi Leonard. We're seeing other players who, now we get to the playoffs, they're not 100%. Are we getting the best basketball, or is it really almost like the football portion of it? It's the teams that have the less attrition, that have the healthiest teams are now winning. Maybe not so much the best teams are winning.
Well, I think, to your point, I mean, it's always the latter, right?
Right.
I mean, it's the latter in any sport. It's like part of winning the title is the team that can have the most luck, that can stay the healthiest, and that can navigate sort of the choppy waters that a long season represents. But the discussion in the NBA is, unlike in any other sport, and if somebody's going to call the show and say, well, wait a minute, what about pitchers throwing with pitch counts? No, hang up the phone. This is totally different.
Right.
Totally different. In the NBA, we are trying to prevent injury, future injuries, by stopping players from playing in games. We've never seen this. We've never seen this throughout a regular season. We've seen it, maybe in late March as you get into April, when teams are satisfied with their playoff positioning within reason and say, you know what, we're going to prioritize health over a seed. That's one thing. What we saw this year has never been done before. It was started by Kawhi Leonard, obviously, and how the Raptors allowed him to approach that season in 2019. But when I say it's never been done what I mean is on a wide scale in the NBA like this. We've never seen anything like this. And I don't know that you can say that it worked because if you think about some of the players who were load managed the most, whether it was Kawhi or whether it was Paul George or whether it was Giannis, even Ja, who, he was suspended 8 games too, but he's a guy, he's always a guy that plays in the 60s. They don't like playing him always on back-to-backs. If he's dinged up a little, he sits on down the line. we still get into the first round and guys are hurt anyway. Zion Williamson can't even play. Like he can't play. This is not. It is not doing what it is intended to do, at least in the short term. Now, if you want to say that players are playing longer in their careers because of this load management, I don't think the data is there yet. But fine, I'll concede that. But keeping them healthy for when it matters most, that has not been the case. Joel Embiid misses game 1. All the other guys I just mentioned. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one because it's hard to see how you walk this back and players just start playing 75, 76 games a year, 80 games a year. Several guys playing 82 games a year like it used to be. It's like I don't see how we ever get back to that. But this sort of proactive not playing guys hasn't worked out. I don't think in a way that they would say that it has.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.